everyone, Natalie Douglas here, your friendly neighborhood attorney. Just popping on today to give you some tips about what to do if you are stopped by the police. The first tip I have for you today is safely pull over. So especially if you're on a main road, just do a quick scan, see whether there's maybe a parking lot, a gas station, or even a side street that you can pull onto for the traffic stop, just to make things a little more safer, get out of the way of the flow of traffic, and hopefully avoid an accident. Also, you want to consider, is it safe to pull over under the circumstances? And the reason I bring that up is because these days predators do try to impersonate police officers to take advantage of people, especially women. It's incredibly easy these days for them to go on Amazon or any number of places and just buy a light and siren kit, and before you know it, you could be pulled over by one of them. So if you're ever in any doubt, just give 911 a quick call, let dispatch know your location, and just confirm that there is a real law enforcement officer behind you trying to stop you before you pull over. My second tip, once you're stopped in a safe location, show the officer that everything's safe. You're going to do that by just avoiding any sudden movements, keeping your hands on the steering wheel. You always want the officer to be able to see your hands. If there's any reason that your hands need to move, just let the officer know, give them a heads up. My third tip for you today is in communicating with your officer. You always want to give your officer the opportunity to speak first, because more often than not, they're going to begin the interaction with, hi, I'm Officer so-and-so with XYZ Police Department. I stopped you for speeding, or whatever the reason was that they stopped you for. If they don't give you a reason, it's perfectly okay to politely ask, is there a specific reason that I was pulled over? Now, one thing I will say is if you disagree with the reason that the officer provided for your traffic stop, now is not the time or the place to argue, because by the time you have been pulled over by that officer, he or she has already made up their mind and you're not about to change it for them. Remember, you're going to have your day in court. Either you or your attorney, if you hire one, will have the opportunity to present evidence and arguments on your behalf. My fourth tip for you today is always be polite and cooperative with the officer. It goes a long way. I always recommend it. You can do that without giving up any of your rights. For example, if they ask if they can search your vehicle, you could say something like, I really have somewhere that I need to be. Am I free to leave? And either you will be free to leave or you won't be. The officer will let you know. But in any event, you're not consenting to a search. You might be wondering, what's the benefit for me? Why am I recommending that you be cooperative? What's in it? So not only will it help your interaction with the law to go more smoothly, but it's also a major consideration in the mind of the judge when you do get your day in court. As one example, I was sitting in court recently, and a man was called up for his first appearance by the judge, and it was a reckless driving by speed charge. And for those of you who don't know, reckless driving is a jailable offense in Virginia. So the judge calls the case, the man comes up, and he's just adamant about wanting to get the trial over with that day. The judge looks over and asks the officer, was it only speed as the basis for this reckless driving charge? The officer says yes, and so the judge says, okay, I think I'll waive jail time and we can go ahead with the trial today. But then in giving a summary of the evidence, the officer goes on to explain from the beginning of this traffic stop until the end of the stop, this man begins cursing her out, ranting, raving, calling her every profane word in the book, which I will not repeat here. But in any event, upon hearing that, the judge says, you know what, actually I can't waive jail time. We're going to continue this matter out so that you can either consider hiring an attorney or you can see if you qualify for court-appointed counsel. So the bottom line is, if you're nasty with the officer, if you cuss him or her out, he or she is certainly going to remember you, and they're going to make sure that the judge remembers you, and not in a good way. Always be polite and cooperative. My final tip for you today, please obey any instructions to exit your vehicle that the police might give you. Keeping in mind that you never have to consent to a search of your vehicle, being asked to exit your vehicle is very different. It's cited for officer safety, and for that reason you are required to do it even if you disagree with it or don't think that you did anything wrong. If you are asked to exit your vehicle, what I would recommend is just turning your ignition off real quick, making sure that you have your vehicle key in your pocket, putting all your windows up, exiting the vehicle, closing the door behind you, and locking it. If you like this content and you would like to see more, please give me a quick like. Please follow, please share. Keeping in mind that I do offer free consultations if you do need specific advice after being stopped by the police. I'm always happy to provide that. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.